Hi, this is Priyanka, working as a software engineer at Winfomi. I'm going to walk you through about OmniStudio in Communications Cloud. Let's see the agenda. First, we'll see the introduction. Then, we'll see what is Communications Cloud, what is OmniStudio, and the components of OmniStudio. We'll see the introduction. Telecom companies handle hundreds of customer interactions daily, like plan upgrades, SIM activations, and compliance and billing worries across multiple systems. Now, Communications Cloud bring these workflow together using OmniStudio. Who will be using this? Like Salesforce developers, admins, and telecom professionals. What we are learning here is the main components of OmniStudio and how they fit together, and the payoff. The main payoff of OmniStudio is low-code development. In traditional Salesforce development, building a telecom process like SIM activation would require multiple Apex classes, custom Lightning Web components, and API integrations. But with OmniStudio, we can build the entire guided workflow using declarative tools like OmniScript, FlexCards, integration procedures, and data mapper. Let's take an example of SIM activation flow. Here, OmniScript can handle the step-by-step user interaction. FlexCards display customer activation details. Integration procedures can connect backend systems. Data mapper transforms the API response into Salesforce format. So this can significantly reduce the development effort and speed up the delivery. We'll see what is Communications Cloud. Communications Cloud is a specialized version of Salesforce built specifically for telecom companies, internet service providers, and media companies. Think about companies like Airtel, Jio, ACT FiberNet, or any broadband provider. These companies are dealing with thousands of customer interactions every single day, like plan upgrades, SIM activations, and billing queries. Managing all of this across multiple systems is a massive challenge. Now, Communications Cloud solves this problem by bringing everything under one platform, which is OmniStudio. Now, if we look at the platform architecture, Communications Cloud is built in 3 layers. The bottom layer is Salesforce core. This is where our basic data lives, accounts, contacts, cases, and other standard Salesforce objects. The middle layer is the product and order layer. This is where product catalog, pricing, and order management sit. And on the top of the layer, this OmniStudio is being an important role in Communications Cloud. Let's see what is OmniStudio. In the simplest form, OmniStudio is a set of no-code and low-code tools inside Salesforce and lets you build guided digital experiences without writing custom code. Traditionally, if we want to build a custom guided flow in Salesforce, we need to write Apex code and build custom LWCs and lot of custom development work. OmniStudio completely changes it. With OmniStudio, we can configure everything declaratively using a drag and drop designer. No Apex, no LWC, no deployment headaches. And it is originally built by Velocity back in 2018-19. Later, it's been acquired by Salesforce itself in 2020. Now we'll deep dive into each components. The first and most visible component of OmniStudio is OmniScript. So, what is OmniScript in simple terms? It lets you build guided step-by-step flows like a wizard. Like instead of an agent opening 5 different screens, switching between multiple tabs, manually copying data, OmniScript puts everything in one single guided journey. Let's imagine a customer calls a telecom support center saying, I want to activate a SIM card. Without OmniStudio, the agent would need to open the CRM, then open the billing system, then open the activation system, switching between multiple tabs. With OmniScript, the agent follows one simple guided flow step by step and the system handles everything in the background. Let me walk you through how OmniScript is structured. It is made up of steps. Each step is like one screen in the flow. The agent moves forward or backward between steps and each step can have validation, so the agent cannot proceed without completing the required fields. Inside each step, we have this kind of key elements. For example, the text input element lets the agent type the information, then select or radio element let us pick from a list of options, and the conditional view element can show or hide the certain fields based on what was selected earlier, and we can also embed the data raptor or integration procedure inside OmniScript. So the navigation is becoming very simple in OmniScript. Next, back submit buttons. That's it. In short, if there is a guided journey that involves multiple steps and systems, then OmniScript is the tool for it. And as soon as the OmniScript is created, it creates the Lightning Web Component. We can use that LWC on Lightning pages or wherever required. And the common use cases can be the new connections, plan upgrades, SIM activation, complaint logging, and serviceability check. Now we'll move on to FlexCards. If OmniScript is the guided journey, then FlexCards are the dashboard. FlexCards are dynamic display cards that show real-time data on screen. Think of it like a tiles on a dashboard. Each card shows specific information about a customer or product, all in one place. For example, when a support agent opens a customer record in Salesforce, instead of navigating to multiple sections, they immediately see the flex card showing the customer name, current plan, SIM status, and recent support cases all at a glance. This is the power of flex cards. Flex card can pull the data from a data raptor. Now it is called as data mapper or integration procedure or direct SQL query. The data refreshes every time the card loads, so the agent always see the most current information. Let's see the key functionalities of FlexCard. Dynamic data display, multiple card states, actions and navigation, interaction with backend systems, reusable components. This FlexCard has multiple card states. In fact, there are 4 states in FlexCard. First one is default state. Default state is what shows when data is available, and the second one is loading state. This shows a spinner while data is being fetched. Then empty state. This shows a message when no data is found. Then the error state. This shows when something goes wrong during the data fetch. Each state can be designed separately so the experience is smooth regardless of the situation. We can also add navigation actions in the FlexCard and can launch OmniScript action, call integration procedures, and also we can use data mapper for data fetching. So one FlexCard can show data from multiple Salesforce objects in a single card configured declaratively, no code needed. Let's move on to integration procedure. This is like a backend brain of OmniStudio. If the OmniScript and FlexCard R is for the front end, then integration procedure is for the backend. Here is a simple definition. An integration procedure is a server-side orchestration tool that can call data mapper, external APIs, apply logic, and return results all in one call. Inside integration procedures, we have different types of actions like data mapper extract, data mapper load, HTTP actions, conditional action, loop action, and response action. So based on the operation count, we can choose either integration procedure or data mapper. We'll see the data mapper in the next slide. It can translate data between external API format and Salesforce format. No Apex required. When we call an external system like SIM activation API, it returns data in its own format. So the data mapper helps to translate those data into Salesforce format. We can see the real world example here. This is the API response and this is the format what the Salesforce need. So we can convert the data from this format to this. Traditionally, we would need to write Apex code to handle this conversion. Now data mapper eliminates the need completely. We can configure the field mapping visually. We can map the fields in the left side, which is what the API returns, to the right side, which is what the Salesforce needs. So no code, just configuration. Data mapper has 4 types: extract, load, turbo extract, and transform. Extract helps to retrieve and transform the data from multiple objects. Load can help to insert and update the data to Salesforce. Turbo extract quickly retrieve the data from a single Salesforce object. Transform can convert the JSON format. Now we get a very common question that when to use data raptor and when to use integration procedure. One simple rule is if the operation is one, then we can use data raptor. If there are multiple things to be done, then like fetch data, call API, apply logic, and save the record, then we can use integration procedure. So data mapper is simple and fast. Integration procedure is powerful and flexible. We can launch the OmniStudio from the app launcher. I have created this OmniScript which is having two steps. This is step 1 and this is step 2. What I have done here is I'm just entering some information here and capturing them in the second step. And I also want to highlight few key points about OmniScript. This step name is very important because using this only we are going to access the information in the step in further screens or steps. So I have just some input boxes in this step. There is no other configuration, just few input boxes, and just I am displaying here in the next step. So how we can access the first step details? We should use this percentage symbol, and inside this we should use the node like step 1 colon name. This will be the input box or whatever the elements inside the step. So this is the way we can use it. Let's preview and check how it works. So whatever the information is entered in the first screen is visible here. So this is for FlexCard example. I have created a simple FlexCard. It is having an image and I am displaying few account information like account ID, name and website. How the data is shown in this FlexCard? This is using a integration procedure and data mapper. So in the setup, FlexCard is for the data display. So it has to fetch the data from Salesforce using either integration procedure or data mapper. We can also give the SQL queries data directly or this other data sources. So now I have used the integration procedure, and if we see this is an IP name here, but the actual integration procedure name is different because while we creating the integration procedure it will ask for type and subtype, so that only will come here. So the name will not come. We should configure the type and subtype of the integration procedure. Let's see what I have done in IP. So IP is of more of like an Apex class consisting of different blocks for different purposes. So here if we see it has different sections, groups, data mapper actions and standard actions. So it will run synchronously in the way how we are adding the things here. First, I have added a data mapper extract action and I am choosing the data mapper I have created. We'll also see what I have done in data mapper. So data mapper is more of like a SQL query. So what we do in SQL in Apex, what are the main things? We have to give the fields and mention the objects and the filter conditions. So if we come to data mapper, in the first we'll have to choose the object and we'll have to give some JSON name and the fields, filter fields here. So this is kind of variable where we have to assign the value in the runtime. We should map the fields, what are the fields we need. As soon as we give the object and JSON path name, then we see here all the fields will be available under the JSON name. Then we can map this into our runtime JSON name. You see here, this is a field names we have given to be seen in the output. So in filter condition we have given this, so we have to give some value here. Let's see, we'll change something and execute so it can show the records. So the data mapper is working fine. We'll go back to integration procedure. So that is the data mapper I have used here, and the data mapper is expecting this value and will assign this to an IP data source. So that's all the configuration in the data mapper extract action. Then we have to return that whatever the response coming from data mapper extract. So we'll give the key. It can be anything. We are just passing the response from data mapper extract here. So we have to use this inside this percentage. So this is a format we have to use it. We'll just preview. So this is the node expected in IP. We'll pass some value here and test it. We see here in the response. So the record is coming. So the now IP is also working fine. Now we'll go back to FlexCard. So in FlexCard, first we are giving the data source as IP, then IP is expecting this value. So we are assigning some variable here, or we can directly pass the value here, hard-coded value directly, or we can give the variable and we'll just pass this in the test parameters, and result automatically this comes as soon as we configured in the integration procedure in the response path. If you see in the response path, so that's what we have given, it will come here. So we just have to map it, save and fetch, we'll check it. So it can return. We change it. so it can return the data. So this is how the FlexCard, OmniScript, data mapper and integration procedure works. Thanks for watching the step-by-step guide on OmniStudio. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dive tutorials and feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions. Thank you.